Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Kane. Today I'm sharing a double 8.5 by 11 layout. This is for Miss Kate's design team. I'm showing the monthly box for September that just was released. I do have an affiliate link down below if you would like to use that to pick up your own box. And here I'm going to show you a few photos that I plan on using throughout the month. Two of them are going to be single photo layouts, and then this one here is the double page layout. The last two photos I showed there, I probably won't be using. I think I've already scrapped them. Anyways, I have the 6x6 papers. I have the die cuts, which is this pack here. And then the full sticker sheet, which is the same as the die cuts. They are just stickers in a little bit of a smaller scale. Here is the entire paper pack. Sorry, forgot to open it. Let me get them out real quick. And then I'll do a quick little flip through of all of the papers. Um, that one does have a print on the back side of it. It's just light polka dots. And then the leaves I absolutely love. I probably will be fussy cutting some of those big leaves. And then the plaid and the cut aparts are always my favorite. So there's lots of cut aparts. And then that was leaves on the other side, along with a really pretty blue. Like, it's not a dark blue, it's kind of a like a gray blue, I guess. I really like it. And then the brown and the orange, and there's a couple of different oranges. There's a brighter orange and a darker orange, and then also a bright red. I also like that green color. It's kind of like a, not really a bright, like grass green, but a really nice muted green. And I really like the color of it. I end up using that on the very first layout that I create. So here again, here's more leaves. These ones are a little bit smaller scale. And then pumpkins, there's lots of pumpkins. But there's also lots of papers that are tone on tone that you could use just for fall pictures. You might have to bring in some different embellishments to kind of, make it more not so pumpkin fall. But definitely you could play up the pumpkins too. And then I also received the cardstock paper, and this is 12 by 12. There's two of each color, and then the opposite side of them is white. So I like to use her cardstock for my die cuts when I cut out on, or not die cuts, but digital cut files. So when I cut on my silhouette, I usually use Miss Kate cardstock because it cuts really well. So here I'm just splattering white paint around on the brown cardstock. And again, I don't really like empty space, so that's what I'm doing here is I'm just adding a little bit of a sparkle, or it's not really going to sparkle because it's just white acrylic paint. So it's just a little splatter around the edge. And I am using a sketch, but it's paid content by Allison Davis, so I'm not going to show the sketch. But I will leave a link down below if you'd like to pick up the sketches, and I will tell you which sketch it is down below. But for right now, I'm going to put together the background papers. And again, since this is following along on the sketch, this is pretty much exactly how she has it set up in the sketch. The only thing I'm doing different is I'm scaling it down so it'll fit on 8.5 by 11. So these little squares or rectangles here are going to hold the photos, and I'm going to also make some embellishments with the 6x6 papers. So here I'm going to use that, bring that brown paper back in, and then I matted it 3 times basically. I did the orange and then the tan in the cardstocks, and then I did white for the photo mats. But I didn't want to do individual ones. I'm going to collage them together. So it was easier if I just cut them out like this. And I will make a mistake. On the right hand side, it's a little bit too big. So I will have to cut it and adjust it. But I believe I left that in. So here I have that green paper that I loved so much. That's going to be my main photo area. And then I'm going to place this photo here. This was the 4x6, but I cut it down to a 3x4 This is the only one that actually stays as a 3x4. The other photos were trimmed down to 2.5 by 3 3/4 or 3.5. One of the two. And that was just because, again, I have to size it down so that it'll fit on my 8.5 by 11. So sizing the photos down to 2.5 inches across made it fit across the layout and not take up so much real estate. So this is where I'm like, oops, that's a little bit too big. So I'm just going to trim that down real quick. And luckily I didn't mess it up doing it. And I didn't tear the papers pulling it up either. I was able to pull the ATG off the paper real easily and, cut it, trim it up, and put it back down. And pretty much that's because Miss Kate's paper is kind of on the slick side. Not not super slick, but definitely has a little bit of a slickness to it. And the ATG does stick to it over time, but at first it's very easy to pull it back up. So here are the little squares that I made for the bottom part of the layout. And again, that was to add lots of pattern papers. So here I'm flipping them, turning them, moving them, and I'm like, how did I end up with two exactly the same right next to each other? And it's going to bother me. It bothers me enough that I'm going to actually pull in another paper, change it out, and then realize I really didn't have to because part of it gets covered up anyways. But it's okay. Um, in my heart of hearts, I know it's not there the same anymore on the bottom. And it ends up looking better anyways, so that's going to take a minute. I did cut that part out, but basically I just took um, one of the papers off and I'm going to place it back down and it's going to be a different color. So it'll be an orange plaid, I believe, what I'm going to put down at the bottom. But like I said, it's going to get covered up anyways. You're not even going to see it. But I just couldn't leave it there. It was bothering me. And partly because I did exactly two of them almost exactly the same. I didn't mean to. As I was creating them, I was purposely not making them exactly the same, but those two ended up almost exactly the same and then right next to each other. But it's okay. In the end, I like the way that it looks. So here I am putting these down now. And I did want a little bit of the white pattern or the white paper to show behind it. So that's the reason they're 2.5 by 2.5 basically to make the little squares. So then here's the little tinier photos that I have, and these ones were 2x3s, but they are trimmed up a little bit. I believe they're 2.5 by 2. And I already had these photos printed. I've had them printed for quite a while. So I just wanted to get them all on one layout. And this sketch worked out perfectly, and this collection matches really great with these photos. I have lots of these photos from this particular day, and the other layouts are a lot more detailed, and I used a lot of different collections to create those layouts. So this one's a little bit more on the simple side, and I'm okay with it. It's fine. Every once in a while, you just have to create the layout and just get them documented in the album. So that's what I'm doing here. And basically, I recreated the cluster that is right underneath the word fall fun. And this was right at the start of fall. I believe these photos are early September. We had went on a field trip to a local, basically a little mountain area, and it's called a canyon. And you can walk all the way down to the bottom of the canyon and see water. And then, of course, you have to walk back up. But it's not a really long hike, and it's not a bad hike. And 1 year old, he was totally fine walking the entire way, all the way down and all the way back up. He was a little trooper. He enjoyed it, and of course, walking and picking up sticks and pine cones. And he learned how to say pine cone while we were there. So that's why I definitely pulled out the little pine cones and popped those in the collection areas or the cluster areas. And then now I'm adding hearts at the top and the bottom. I really liked this pattern paper with the hearts. That is not in the sketch. I added that on my own. And this is the layout complete. I will add a little bit of journaling down at the bottom on the left-hand side, and it'll be strip journaling. But that is my layout for today using Miss Kate's monthly box for September. I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. I definitely enjoyed creating it, and I will leave all the links down below. And hopefully I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow I will have 2 videos up, so please come back, like and subscribe.